Hmm. Okay. So, the last 2 weeks, I've been asking you to sit with some uncomfortable things. Week 1, you're probably making your business harder than it needs to be. And week 2, simplifying is actually the braver choice, not the easy one. And if you've been following along, I hope those landed with you because this week we're going to do something a little bit different. This week, I want to give you something that you can actually use. I want to start with a conversation I had last week. A friend reached out. She was a little bit overwhelmed, kind of not sure where to start. And what struck me about it was she wasn't someone who'd never tried to get organized. She was super organized. She had her systems. She had good ones. She'd done a lot of the work. She had just kind of fallen off track, and without a clear way back in, a clear way out of the swirl, the pile had just started to feel like a wall that she could not bust through. And I think it's actually more common than we talk about. It's not always, I have no idea what I'm doing. Sometimes it's, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I just can't find the thread to grab onto. So I just walked her through it out loud, really simply. And she had a plan in about 5 minutes. And what I said was not genius. It was just the steps, it was a sequence. And she had the sequence to follow instead of just staring at that pile all by herself. And that sequence is what I want to share with you today. It's called the Calm Clarity Method. There are 5 steps total. And today I'm going to walk you through the first 3. So, step 1 is settle. And I know it sounds soft, like, sure, take a deep breath, whatever, super helpful stuff. Come on. But I mean something really more specific than that. When you're overwhelmed and your brain is in alarm mode, right? The alarms are going off. Everything feels equally urgent. Every task is screaming at the same volume. And when that's happening, you literally cannot think clearly. Your brain is too busy trying to manage the threat level to actually be able to prioritize anything, right? So before you touch your task list, before you open up your email, before you do anything else, take a few minutes and settle. And it might be 5 minutes of quiet. It might be a walk around the block or a walk around the house, right? It might be closing out all the tabs and just sitting for a second. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but it has to happen first because you can't simplify what's around you when you're in this state of panic. You're just going to end up spinning faster and faster. We don't want that. My friend, the first thing I said was stop looking at your list for a second. Talk to me. Take a breath. What's actually going on? That was her settle, taking the pressure off long enough for her to be actually for her to be able to take a step back and look at it. Okay, step 2 is simplify. Once you're settled, look at everything on your plate and start asking questions. Specifically, things like, does this actually need to happen? Okay, does it need to happen today? Does it need to happen by me? And you'd be surprised, I promise, really surprised how much of your list doesn't survive those 3 questions. Some things are on your list because they sounded like a good idea 3 weeks ago and you haven't revisited them since. They just keep moving along the list, right? Some things feel urgent because somebody else made them urgent, not because they actually are. And some things could be delegated or dropped entirely and nobody's going to notice. Simplify is not deleting your whole to-do list. Not at all. It's just being honest with it, looking at what's real versus what's just noise. And when I talked my friend through this, she crossed 4 things off her list just by asking, does this actually need to happen today? 4 things gone. All of a sudden, her pile is a lot smaller. Okay. Step 3 is select. Out of everything that's left, right? We got rid of stuff. We have a little bit left. We've settled, we've simplified. You pick one thing, the one thing that actually moves something forward today. Not the most urgent, not the loudest, not the one that's been on your list the longest and making you feel guilty. The one that matters most right now for where you're actually trying to go. This is the step that most people like to resist a little bit. It requires you to make a real decision and commit to it. So that can be hard, right? We've already talked about how uncomfortable that is last week, right? But here's what I've seen happen over and over. When somebody picks the one thing and actually does it, the rest of the day feels completely different because you moved something that mattered. And that feeling, that forward motion, that's momentum. That's what keeps you coming back instead of avoiding things. And then all of a sudden, that momentum, that motion, you can do something else and do something else and maybe do something else. So that's it. That's the first 3 steps: settle, simplify, select. There are 2 more, map and move, and I'm going to walk through those next week because honestly, once you have the first 3, those last 2 kind of start to feel a lot more natural. So here's what I want you to do before next week. Try it just once. Next time you hit the wall, the overwhelm, the frozen feeling, whatever, I don't even know where to start. Run through those 3 steps before you do anything else. Settle, simplify, select one thing. And then tell me what happens. Drop a comment or come find me in the Clarity Lounge. I can't wait to hear it. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next week for the last 2 steps.